Welcome. You can't see us, but you should be able to. Welcome to another episode of AMA. What is going on? Why is this thing? This is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. Welcome, Brett. You're my co host. Talk while I figure this out.
Look at that lake. That's a beautiful lake. What lake is that?
That is Lake Chelan. I'm just kidding. I don't know. That is actually an actual lake in Washington, I'm pretty
Really?
sure. Yeah. It's not really Lake
That
Chelan.
might be Lake Chelan. I'm supposed
Have you been to Lake Chelan?
to super smoke. Oh, we were supposed to go on our trip. They have a really nice standing wave to surf. It's called City Wave,
Okay.
and we were supposed to go, and then we have it booked right there on the lake at a like trailer RV park, like campsite kind of deal.
Okay.
And for Labor Day, but they've got some really bad smoke and fires up there. So for our 1-year-old, that's not ideal.
Okay.
So it's kind of going to
Where
be
in
going through the
Washington is
season,
Lake Chelan?
like central, north central.
Well,
But I
that
guess
does not sound good.
people goes over there and hangs out during the summer usually. But I heard due to the smoke, a lot of businesses are like closed, and overall tourism there has not been good.
Hmm. Okay.
I
Well,
reposted the live on X for you, by the way. I don't think it hits me, uh, goes live on my channel anymore.
oh yeah, I think you would. Can you connect it individually? Can you connect it from where you're at right now?
I don't know how to.
Hmm. I can potentially add a destination. Let's do that for next time. Anyway, people, this is just Brett and I having a conversation. You're not even. We don't even care what you're doing. We're just doing our own
About
thing
Chelan, Lake
about
Chelan.
about Chelan. We talk about Amazon and we answer many answers. Ask many answers. No, ask me anything. That's what AMA stands for. Brett is a high value, highly sought after founder and consultant that builds great tools for people around Amazon and helps their brands grow on Amazon. And I run a highly coveted, highly selected agency that helps brands to win on Amazon. If you want to know more, click here. I have no idea what's going to be on the screen. There's not going to be anything clicking, but if you want to know more, just look up websites or something. I think all of our handles are on this screen right here too. What are you looking forward to most with Amazon Accelerate?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, you're the king, like king of the castle. You are the king of your castle in the Amazon space. And that's all the jokes I have.
I'm the king of the castle in my
It's pretty
Amazon
good,
space.
huh?
I've actually been
And you're,
rewatching that,
I don't
rewatching
know.
clips of that movie. It's it's really good. It's really funny.
It's funny.
He kisses that girl and then says, "This is my sister." Like it's ridiculous. There's other stuff on here that I feel like
Yeah, it's okay.
people would be mad if I said, and I don't really care about being PC. I just don't want stuff recorded about me that I don't want people misusing. So I don't know. I won't say it, but it's
Yeah,
pretty
it's a
funny.
good one. I will break something. Break something. I will tell our very large audience something that is in the works for Accelerate. That's going to be very, very exciting.
Ooh, okay. Let's
Say
hear it.
something? Should I just
What's
keep it a secret? Well,
should you keep it a secret?
yeah, should I keep it a secret and then work it and then
Let's
announce it,
let's
or should I
maybe
just?
let's maybe tease a little bit.
Well,
Te-
the little meetup I did at Prosper was very, very highly talked about and was awesome. So
okay.
I'm gonna put something on similar with our friends over at Makeshift,
Ooh.
uh, similar to that, with a fun. Very organic get together. Most likely the Tuesday. Um, so I talked to our friends over there yesterday. We're going to get it dialed in, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be all around building. Um, and the purpose of it is not to like be like, oh, look at me. It's mostly to just geek out on like stuff that we geek out about.
Yeah.
All the fun stuff that building that I'm like, hey, do this, do that, and do that. It's one of the things that I'm really keen on now with all this is everyone's going to kind of do it their own way. Into you have to do it this way because everyone might, especially with all these crazy things coming out, like everyone's switching over from Codex, Claude, Buzz, Grok, all these things. Like if you switch over to things that come out, you're literally just going to be going ding, 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 ding. So it's finding the thing that works for you, and if one of those comes out, do your due diligence and be like, hey, this actually could work really well in this system that I have, or nah, it's not going to work well.
I mean, one of the things
So
we were talking
I
about
think
before we
that
even went live was like Claude versus Codex and like building, and how I've said I'm getting a lot of issues where Claude after the fact will say, I fixed this. By the way, I flagged something and I have had to go in. And I think part of it is just having training. I don't know that there is like, other than someone who is an engineer, I don't know that there's official training on how to interact with an LLM well. There might be, and there might be some people that are teaching things. I'm not saying you need a course, but like I'm now having to go in and give it guardrails, which is what I probably should have been doing in the beginning, and saying you need to do when I run something in Cloud Code, which is like the thing I understand least. I'm like, before you push this new, because I've created a plugin for Cartology that we can use internally, and I've said before you go to update this, you need to run a discrepancy scan and find if there's anything that's off so that we can fix that before we push this live. That has made it go significantly faster. And I'm now having to do that on the cowork side where I'm saying, hey, when you're going to update this scheduled task or update this skill, I need you to go and search everything and flag the issues all at once so that we can go and fix that, because it's taking me, I don't know, maybe twice or three times as long to build because of all the things that it's flagging, and it's super frustrating. But that's the kind of stuff that we could be talking about, right?
yeah, yeah, 100%. Like a lot of people in that situation, they will. Am I going in and out,
You're
or
you're
am I
you're
good?
breaking up a
My
little bit, yeah.
connection okay?
You are your
Yeah,
your connection is choppy, like Claude's
I
outputs.
have inline, and I think they're staying in my office, and I think they unplugged the mesh router up here and plugged it back in, or I don't know what they did, but darn it. Um, and Claude at the same time, Claude Code, because um, a lot of the time my preferences is Codex and building in Codex. But back to this event that we're going to do at Accelerate. It's going to be awesome. The whole point of it, and what I've really like to do nowadays, is get people's juices flowing. And I know that sounds horrible. Gosh, I shouldn't really
No,
say
I
that
like
out
that.
loud,
I
but
like to get your I don't think of that in a sexual way, if that's where you're
uh,
going with that.
but it's like, yeah, Brett might be doing it this way, but like if you kind of peel it back, besides whatever tools he might be using or
Yeah.
agent interface or whatever, how could I do something similar, or can I just extract a piece out of that into this? And I think that's where all this education in the AI space should go, is not like you have to do it this way, but hey, here's a way to do it.
How
Now,
could you
if you
do
can
it?
extract a couple, uh, what?
Like, how could you do it? Or how could I do this better or more efficiently? Someone doing something that
Yeah,
I can take on, and I was gonna say, I can't think of the word, but how can I? Oh, how can I appropriate what they're doing? I I have said that many times in text to someone. I've said like, "Hey, I appreciate you," and it will automatically correct it to appropriate. but
Mm,
I, but appropriate, that's like appropriation is not a bad thing in and of itself. Just like discrimination is not a bad thing. Like I make a discriminating choice to not walk out the door without my pants on because that might be rude to other people. But
that's ex-
I think my phone means it in a negative way. So what are you gonna do?
mm, yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah,
people can
so
talk
keep
about
an eye
learning
out
from each other.
for yeah, yeah, and it's very organic. It's not going to be scripted. I mean, we might have like a I don't know. I just really like getting in the room with people that are super interested in this, whether you're up here or down here or in the middle, because everyone can learn from one another and kind of just talk about this. I think to Slav a while back, he's like up here. He's crazy.
Who
Knows a
is?
lot of like scientific stuff around this. His name's Jack Atlasov.
Okay.
Probably butchering his last name, but him and I had a conversation about like a beginner mindset when it comes to all of this. Even the people who think that they know what they're doing is like get in the rooms with people and ask questions and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. It could be working. It's working for me. Like,
Hmm.
and I think that's important because we are so new in this and it's still so early. Like what you're doing with cartology is like what I've heard is on whether you are extremely AI forward and you continue to do so, which is
Hold
awesome.
on. You said something really nice about me that it cut out. So I want to make sure we get that on camera. Will you say that again? About something about our
Well,
agency.
what you're doing, cartology, AI forward, what I've a lot of in this.
All I heard was AI cartology AI forward. It sounds like other people are not building like in the way that we're building.
Yes, that's correct. What you're doing is extremely AI forward, and you're ahead of a lot of people. And it's interesting because
Yes,
I've
I
had some
love
conversations
winning.
around
Woo!
this. Because I I think a lot of it has to do with your people create agents that are set in their way. It has worked and it continues to work, and we can scale it this way. So why introduce something that might bring more resources and costs and stuff involved into it to make it happen? And so I think that's where we sit right now, with a lot of things. And my internet is being horrible, and I'm
Yeah,
not
you're pretty much
excited
the
about it.
worst at internet right now. The interwebs. What I will say, I appreciate that's very kind of you to say, and I actually do like hearing that because I often feel like most people like I'm not advanced enough, or I guess if you want to call that imposter syndrome, like I'm not keeping up, I'm not as big as other people, and I don't really care about the size. I just want to crush it for the people that we work for, and right now we are, which is amazing, and that means that they're willing to refer us to other people, other brands. I don't care about being the most visible, but I should be talking more about what we're doing, and I need to. But my focus, the reason why we are building, why I'm really building, and I'm now one of our rocks this quarter. We operate on EOS. For those of you who don't know, go look it up. That's what Google and ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and Nomenclature and Farfik Nugent and Gazelle and Try Haas and Pfeffer are all for. I made up half those names, but I became process oriented because it meant that we can have some repeatability without it being reliant upon an SOP, meaning you have to follow the line exactly. And it leverages the knowledge that we have of those people. So if someone leaves or something happens and someone needs to run a process, we're not relying upon that individual contributor, but it also helps distill down what I want to see happen, my expectation of serving a client really well. It allows that to be a part of that process, and then someone else can own it and run it because I can't do all that stuff. And I'm arguably not going to be the best person to do all of these things, but it's got people thinking about process, what's repeatable, and what needs to have some variance. And then it allows those people to think less about what am I doing, what steps am I doing, and more about being the human that they need to be. So I've never been about building a lot of, I feel like, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, a lot of agencies were like, we've got tech and we've got this, cool software that we built. And it like, cause it made them better from a EBITDA standpoint or a sellability standpoint. But I never thought that that was a differentiator. To me, it's the level of knowledge and expertise that you have, and then also your ability to execute. And so this makes our ability to execute that much better because we know the process. We update the process regularly based on the inputs, the outputs that we receive when we give inputs. And then we're able to really use our expertise to move the needle forward. And it gives people in my team some autonomy and it gets them excited. I made them all build out process maps for everything. That's not fun work. And I know because I've done it, some people might geek out on that, but like you have to build a detailed process map of what you do across the 10 processes that you run every single day, week, month, whatever. That's not fun work. And I told them that. I said, this is not going to be fun. But once you get and understand what your process is, then we can lean into how can I save myself some time and automate this? And they've come up with really cool things that they would not be able to do and would not work if they went to build because they didn't actually know the process. So that's why I've leaned into it because I don't want to do the same repetitive work over and over and over. And I do want to make people's lives easier. So that's why I've leaned in. And honestly, a year ago, I was not doing even a tenth of what I'm doing right now because I was just like, I don't really have time to do this. And the reality is, I don't have time not to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You said a couple main parts there, the outputs, so the signals that are coming back from all this, like you can improve on those. And then the expertise that us humans have in this, like I thought about that a lot. And there was an article that I posted on LinkedIn recently done by a group, they called it Benchmark, out in China, and Alibaba based, and I think it was a couple people from Alibaba. Study of agent fully autonomously like do an e-com business like on a marketplace. And the answer, the result was no, they can't because um, they don't have the human expertise to go. I think one example in there was, oh, the product's slow selling, we should cut it. But in realisticness, it was like a seasonality item or something like that.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it doesn't
Okay.
have the like subject matter expert to kind of layer on top of that. So
Yet, right?
that thesis that, the thesis that, you know, that you need someone like you and me still holds, and it probably will in our niche. I think that we can get to a certain level where maybe it makes better decisions. You maybe you're taking, a certain percentage, but how do you have AI take more of that gap?
Yeah.
So you don't have as much, maybe not fully autonomous, but maybe just a chunk of it. It's like, cool, great. But that always requires upfront setup and guardrails and things like that we're talking about. Um, so that's fascinating to me is, and then you see these people out there that are packaging up content and whatnot and kind of saying, hey, I have this, like Alex Hormozy has it, this the other dude that forgot his name, but I was seeing him on social. He interviews all the famous people.
The CEO guy,
learn
like
things.
the Diary of a CEO.
I don't know. Maybe that's it. I've how you do that, or like 10 things or like benchmarks that you can do. Um, to extract everything, all the content out, and to be like, here, you can your Amazon business this, once again, going in and out.
Yeah, you're going in and out. But the things I picked up are you have to layer in context and guardrails. And then over time, just like a human should hopefully learn, it has to improve. But the problem with improvement is it has to improve in the right direction. It will sometimes, quote unquote, improve things that we've created. And it does that by adding additional text. And that's a very big tax. And there's a group of guys that I meet with every single month. The group is called Ballast. And my buddy Luke Dooley runs this amazing entrepreneurial circle, mastermind, whatever you want to call it. Um, we get together,
I
talk
like
about,
that name.
yeah, it's cool. It's, the ballast point in a boat, what helps you to maintain
Mhm.
buoyancy. And we talk about our work life, about relational life, about spiritual or inner life, because all those things are all connected. And, bring your whole self to work day, 365 days a year. I just came up with that. Someone came in and talked about the about AI and about the tax that it puts on other people. Like there's someone instituted like a no AI slop rule, and it was like we don't put out slop. And so I've instituted that in my team. I've said, do not post a generative AI reply in this chat without distilling it down to the most critical information. Do not post a long paragraph. Do not post it to a client. Do not post it to us internally on Slack, is what I meant. You need to distill that down to the most important information with very clear outline of what action steps you need from this other person and what you're going to do. And then you can share that with someone. But it's a tax on everyone that's reading it, and that's what slop is. And so we're relying upon these tools. I talked with a client earlier who said, I think I don't really have a way to prove this, but I think kids are like cheating their way through school and college, and they don't learn the actual material. And then when they get into a higher level class where they don't have the ability to be on their computer, now they're screwed. That's what my wife Chris and I have talked about. We're worried about people relying upon it instead of learning the basic skills. I have basic skills
Mhm.
to interact with people. I have basic skills to think, create, to do stuff. But AI can help me to augment that. And that's why I like it and I can leverage it. But I don't rely upon it. I have a brand that I've created called Marbar. And it's not like officially launched, but it's all like bitters and simple syrups and things for people that want to make cocktails at home. It could be a professional bartender as well too, or you could technically make mocktails with this stuff as well. But I used Claude to build out a brand for it, but I didn't want it to come up with the concept. I was like, look, before you ever design, here's all the things about this brand. What are the pieces that are missing in order to create something that's really aligned with what I've said? Because I'm not going to be the designer to do it. I'm basically, using Claude as a designer, but I gave it all the guardrails I want because I want to be the creator. I don't want it to be the creator. It's the doer, the designer, but not the heart and soul of the matter. And that's what I think when people were like, "Oh my gosh, it's going to put so many people out of jobs." It will, but we still need that heart and soul to build well. I think because you can build a bunch of crap, and I'm not saying all these brands are crap, but like, how many better for you soda brands do we need?
Yeah.
I don't know. How many sparkling water brands do we need? I don't know. It's all sparkling water, right? It's all gluten free.
Mhm.
It's all sugar free. So just creating something because you're creating something is not a good reason to create. Although God did say, "Go forth and go be fruitful and multiply." So
Yeah, sorry, I was jotting down some notes. Yeah, I mean, you have hit it on the nose there, Michael. I've gone into more analog, like write stuff down. Um, what you said about the AI slop, like there's a lot of like distilling it down. I've done that quite a bit. Like how, okay, cool. This is great for me. Like, great. Now I plan or we keep this together, agent XYZ. But I need to send a little snippet to the client. And a lot of times I'll send the
Mm,
snippet to the client and be like, hey, a lot of it is for me, but here's a very high level. This is what I'm gonna do. Because he doesn't care. Client is like, cool, like what's gonna happen from that?
right. What is it? Why
Um,
do I care? What is
you
how
know,
is it impacting me?
yeah, exactly. So it's just like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do to get to our goal. This is a very 3 bullet points for our findings. And then they can read the bullet points findings and then they can read the whole thing if they want to, kind of thing. um that's what I've seen even when you're like, hey, distill this down even further, it's like, okay, and then it's like goes crazy and it's just like, all right, that's not what I need. But yeah, the deslopify for sure, it is taxing, a lot of times. But there's one caveat, like you sent me going, hey, can it, and I'm let me send this back to my agent. I just copy and paste it back to my agent. And I do that with Sam over at Makeshift quite a bit,
Hmm.
where I'll just be like, all right, agent talk. There's that human in the loop kind of deal, pasting, copying. I would like to get out of that where it's just like, hey, let's have our agents talk to each other.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of what I'm working on too. And I would love for that to happen, but they'll be out soon. I think Buzz is trying to do something like that. Um, but yeah, I think there's a time and place, and also saying, hey, this is from AI, this is from all the sources. A lot of the stuff that I send to my clients will show the sources where it's coming from. So it's not just like, oh, this is made up crap.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is the receipts of where I pulled this from, what exactly it came from. So the client's like, oh, okay, it's not just like made up. It's he pulled it from Makeshift. He pulled it from Expandify, just pulled it from whatever tool that's plugged in. So,
Yeah.
okay, well, it's content rather than just like, falling from the sky kind of deal.
Yeah. Context, distilling down information, augmenting humans, and providing sources. We just solved all your AI problems. This is AI Me Anything. Thank you for joining us on this edition of
Yeah.
I'm a Get it? AI Me Anything. And Brett's event on Tuesday is going to be in the evening,
Oh,
you think?
drilling down the time, but yeah, most likely. We'll have to, I will have more information hopefully soon
I
on it.
can't wait to hear. I can't wait to attend. September 22nd. You heard it here first. The second monthly, not annual, second quarterly Vortex Mix Shift Cartology meetup. Okay, people, go build something,
Technology.
but build with purpose, and don't let your agent do all the work for you, or your LLM do all the work for you. Be a human.
Mm. Be a
We're out.
human.
See y'all later.